Welcome, my beautiful star soul family. Welcome to this reading. We are going to be working with the Divine Feminine. This is a group collective reading. Also, before we start, I just want to point out that we, in real time, today is December 2nd. Happy birthday, Anna! Anna just had a birthday, and in 2 days from now, we are going to have the full moon in Gemini. So, I wanted to zoom in a little bit and show you these cute little moon paintings that Anna does. I will put a link in the description box to her Etsy, is it page? I guess it's not channel, or Etsy store, thank you. I'm like, I had Etsy before, what do we call it? But she has a beautiful little Etsy store, and I try to support all of you guys as much as I can when especially when you're working on something that is divine, right? That you feel like it's part of your path. So all of her little paintings, anything that's ever come to me from Anna has always felt so charged and just beautiful divine white light, so if we can support her, that's wonderful. Even if you just say prayers, for success for her, so that she can, not have to do her quote unquote day job and do this as a full time. She's a really talented artist. So go to the description box and follow the link. I'll put it there and say Anna's, I believe it's called Enchanted Nature UK. But anyway, so I just wanted to put that out there first because I'm channeling and it's really intense, and I don't think I would forget about it, but I really felt like I wanted to put that present and forward because I do have, thank you to all the new subscribers. We love you. We're so grateful to have you here. But there are some of you that have been with me for a very, very, very long time, and Anna's one of those people. So I try my best to give her the props that she has always done for me. I don't believe I would still even be here if it weren't for my friendships with you guys. So thank you. Okay, so, and I love it. It was so perfect for it to come in. And she does little moon readings, or little, interesting, Anna. Maybe you're meant to do moon readings for Freudian slip. I don't think so. Seriously, that came out so naturally, Anna. Interesting. Wouldn't it be interesting, like if you did like a look, because when you go to her channel, you'll see that she puts a little piece of moonstone in the back. I don't think mine has one. No, but when I saw it, I was like, what a really fucking cool touch, Anna. Really smart. It's just really, and it's so powerful, right? Because moonstone's really powerful. And anyone who works with moonstone or is called to work with moonstone is a very powerful individual indeed. So anyway, yeah, but she's got other paintings as well. And I don't know if you've done, Anna, or maybe you're working on it, but I know, like, I would love a moon phases painting. I had one from a friend of mine, but I was like, I was really upset when I was called to part ways with it. It was very, very upsetting to me, but I feel like it was meant to go back into like the world. So I donated it to a local thrift shop. And I was like, I don't know who will buy it or who will get it or how it'll end up. And for all I know, because he's so talented, maybe he's going to be some famous artist someday and somebody will have that and it'll be like a little treasure. You know what I mean? Art is so awesome, and it's also very subjective. But yeah, moon phase. I would love a moon phase painting at some point, but I would commission you for that, Anna. But that's something too, like maybe you want to commission Anna to do a painting for you. But anyway, I don't want to tell, I feel like I'm not I'm not her PR or her person, you know what I mean? I don't know why this is happening, but it is. And, I go with the flow, so I'm not going to apologize for it. But, when we, all of us, we're very talented artists in this group, in this tribe. So many of us, from, writers to musicians, obviously painters, and readers, really powerful readers. We have some really powerful readers in here. So, that might be something cool too, that like maybe you do like a little reading with each one, and just say, this is the energy I'm feeling with you for this moon painting, because like my moon phase I was born under is the Waning Gibbous. So it's like, that might be something cool too. And maybe if this isn't for Anna, maybe this is for somebody else that, you know, you also do moon paintings, or, you know what I mean? Whatever. But it's just, it's a really great idea. And I totally feel like where that's coming from with spirit. So use it as you will. Anyway, welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My dad is here. My father has been gone for almost 11 years. And, or has it been 11 years, Dad? Yes, right? Because I met Alder. Yes, it's been 11 years. It's going on 12 years. That's right, Dad. So my father was a really powerful artist, and he was talking to me earlier about certain things for myself too, things to focus on, things to work on, to help me achieve my goals. And earlier today, I made this really great shorts. I don't know when it'll go out, but it was with the unicorns, and it was about patience, and it was really important. So if Spirit calls me to, I'll put a link in the description box. I don't know which one will be posted when. You know, I go with the flow of the divine spirit. So, but basically, my father was showing me the lack of divine feminine energy that's missing. And even with what's going on with the sitting American president and his spouse, they were saying, you know, it, like, my dad said, shit trickles downhill, right? Like, so like, it's that old saying, like, right, if mama ain't happy, nobody's happy. Happy wife, happy life. Those are just really like little secret terms for the sacred divine feminine, right? Like, as long as the divine feminine is in balance, all is well, is basically what they're saying. You know what I mean? And that is so powerful. And that made me really understand what was going on. And like with my dad, you know, he wanted to express himself in different ways, but he wasn't really allowed to do that, right? Because you had, especially when he grew up, he was born in 1950, you know, he had to be a man. You have to be a man. He died at 64, and he'd been sick for a long time. He chain smoked. I mean, there were always cigarettes going, you know. He used to say, he goes, I don't really smoke that much. He goes, I pay a lot for it. He's like, but I don't really smoke that much. He's like, a lot of times I take a few puffs. I have a little bit of coffee. And he's like, because he had a restaurant, he's like, I would get up and, you know, have to stir something or cook, or, you know, he also had a bar that was attached to in a banquet hall. And he's like, I was so busy. So the running joke was that the cigarettes burned down. Like, he smoked like less than it looked like, you know. But either way, his body was not healthy, was not well. The foods, he ran himself ragged, you know, and he was showing me. I mean, I remember he gave me this big thing about my teeth and taking good care of my teeth and taking good care of my mouth. And, you know, because he had all these teeth pulled, because he would, you know, get drunk and, you know, eat late. And he and I had very similar tastes in food. And he loved those. Did you ever have those orange slices? They're like a jellied candy, and they have sugar coated. They were really big when I was a kid growing up in the 70s. But they call them orange slices, but I don't think there's any real orange in there except for the fact that it looks like one. But anyway, like, my dad would eat that shit and like fall asleep with it in his teeth. You know what I mean? Like, not brushing his teeth, like, you know, I mean, he'd brush them like the next day, but it's like the damage was done. You know, that raw sugar was just like eating at the enamel of his teeth, and he was drinking and smoking and, you know, drinking coffee and, you know, all these things. And so he when he was getting near his death, he was like, you know, if I could do all of, you know, he gave me like this laundry list of like all the things he would do differently, which is interesting because when I was getting this together, my dad came to me. And then when I started this, it was 2/28, which is my dad's birthday. Was not planned. I was doing all these other things, but he also had me make a shorts to put on my Lula's Labyrinth. I'll put a link to that as well in the description box. But it was Elvis Presley, which was my dad's like idol and icon, and it was his version of My Way. And my dad is saying, you know, don't have any regrets like I did. You know, live your life. He's here as a spirit guide to remind you that, you know, he too was an earth angel. He just didn't understand like his path and his purpose. My mom too. I mean, I've been having all of these things with my mom and Baba. I mean, it's been a rough, you know, as each holiday is like getting checked off my list this season. I feel it. I feel the absence of my mother. I feel the absence of my father. I feel the absence of my blood and bone family. I feel the absence of Baba, my beautiful familiar. Like, I feel that absence. It's very strong. And Spirit wanted me to cry, you know. I mean, it's interesting. My moon's in Scorpio and I'm a triple Sag. So the way that this moon is, it's like in the Sagittarius season, it's actually bringing us a lot of relief. Have you been crying? You know, even though I'm linked to it, for my water signs or those sensitives or empaths, have you been crying a lot? What have you, you know, I mean, blessed December. This is it, you guys. We're almost there. We made it. 2025 was a really fucking hard year for a lot of people. It was the year of the snake. It's about rebirth. It's about regeneration. It's about leaving the past behind. It's about moving forward. Next year is the year of the horse, but it's the year of the fire horse. A lot of shit's going to get burned away. So I am feeling the feminine. In fact, it's interesting because this has been, I almost feel like that was like hiding the word feminine, but it needed to. And I feel like, do we want it to go back somewhere else? Maybe it wants to go next to the moonstone. Oh no, because it's blocking it. I feel like it wants to go over here somehow though. Ooh, it's like it's kissing the moon. Oh, it drives me crazy that I don't know what that stone is. I've taken it to places and they're like, oh, I don't know, it kind of looks like this. And I remember when I got it from the dealer, he told me it was really rare. So I don't know what it is. The only thing he did tell me was that don't handle it too much. He's like, it's very kind of sharp, but also like whatever mineral it is, it's like, it's not meant to be on human skin. Like sometimes if I touch it and then I, you know, like right now I'm wiping off of my pants, but it can get itchy. Have you ever had that with any of your crystals and stones? Be mindful. Not all of them are meant to like be held in your hand or, you know what I mean? They're there for the energy, but it's not, you know, they're not all warm and fluffy. But interesting, I feel like it's kissing the full moon. So this full moon is actually really powerful. And I want to say this before we dive into the cards. This full moon is going to affect Sagittarius, Gemini, Virgo, and Pisces the most. They're the mutable signs. It is going to affect them the most because of the energies that they're connected to. So if you have those heavy in your chart, lean into this healing energy. I have been feeling such a possession from Jesus that I've never felt before, where he has been showing me like, oh, I'm starting to get emotional. Just how loved we are, you know, just like how really loved we are, how looked after we are, and that help is on the way. You know what I mean? Help's already here. Keep calling to your angels, you know, but like help's already here. I'm also, my lower back has been, I feel like I keep healing it and then it keeps coming back. Oh, when I looked, it was 1301. So 13 is the number of the divine feminine and 1 is about new beginnings. And when you add those together, it's the number 5. And 5s are change and transformation. We are coming out of it, blessed soul family. We are coming out of it. By the end of March, we're going to feel so different. I don't know if you saw the latest reading. I'll put it in the description box. It was really powerful. It was a message from the unicorns. I was knackered. I mean, really fucking tired, man. Like, I had done hours of laundry, went grocery shopping, came home, had to like put everything back together. But, you know, I'm kind of meticulous, so I wanted to make sure I vacuumed everything really good first before I put my clean rugs down. And, you know, because my Christmas stuff's going to be coming in, right? So I wanted to make sure everything was nice and clean so I can decorate for Christmas and just enjoy the month, you know. So in January, I'll, you know, do it all again. But I was like, I want my birthday month, I want to feel good. You know, December 13th, for those of you who don't know, the divine goddess, right? The divine feminine energy. That's not an accident. There's no accident that is my birthday. Same with Taylor Swift, you know. Speaking of, Kathy Griffin is fucking hilarious. And she's like, let me tell you something. I just want to start by saying I am a Swiftie, so Swifties don't come for me. She's like, I love Taylor. I saw her concert. It was amazing. She's like, but let's be honest. She's like, you know, and she kind of like said this little thing. If I can find it, I'll put it there. But she's like, it's not even about her being like the most talented, she's like, the power of her is her, right? She's like, it's insane to spend $1,000, because she was saying the difference between, she's like, there's not a big difference between the MAGA and the Swifties. She's like, the devotion is the same. And it was really fucking interesting, because she had me looking at it in a completely different way, right? Like, because if you look at like the MAGA side is like, you know, we want to be separate and we want to be ourselves, and if we want to be racist, nobody should tell us we shouldn't be, and I mean, I can go on and on and on and on and on, right? But like the Swifties are like, we love everybody, everything's awesome. But like the true Swifties are like, you fucking touch Taylor and I will kill you. Like they will. They won't even bat an eye. So she's like, I don't know, I feel like there's, she's like, I'm a Swiftie and then there's Swifties. She's like, that kind of devotion. And I thought that is so powerful, right? Because Taylor and I have the same birthday. And there are many really magical creatures that were born on the 13th. And it makes sense, you know, we have this very strong divine feminine energy, which ironically, my birth chart is 70% masculine. And when I think of myself, like, you know, even like when I'm in bed, I mean, I've been with men who are like, you're just too overpowering for me. And I was like, you can't handle all this, you know, but it wasn't even that. I mean, looking back on it, I completely emasculated them that they couldn't handle me. But the truth is, I'm a lot of being, because on, you know, when I was, especially when I was like doing my hair, my makeup and my nails and wearing sexy clothes and big push-up bras and like walking in heels and sexy dresses or whatever, it's like on the outside, men were like, you know, but then we get in bed and I'm just like, lay down, bitch. You know what I mean? I'm like, mama's going for a ride. You know what I mean? It's like I had my own. And I didn't realize how much my divine masculine drove me. It took me years to even understand how much I had to come back into my heart chakra, back into my divine feminine. And for a lot of men right now, what my dad is showing me is that they want to be themselves, but they don't always feel 100% accepted. You know, they don't feel comfortable to sit in their full divine feminine because there are many people who told them that they shouldn't. That was weak. Don't be a pussy. Be a man. Man up. I mean, all these phrases. And it's the same for women, right? Like, be a lady. Be a good girl. You're a mother. Don't dress like that. What's wrong with you? Don't be too provocative. Don't lure the men. You know, like, it's our responsibility. I mean, just all these things. So what I got from Spirit was, when I started to really set this up, I heard Adele's, and I'll put a link for that in the description box as well, but I heard Adele's Love in the Dark. Oh, and it hit that, boy, I just got the chills, and it hit that part where she's like, I can't love you in the dark. It feels like we're oceans apart. There's so much space between us, right? And I feel, I mean, and this song's amazing and go on and on, but that was the part that really got me, because that's what's happening right now. A lot of relationships are breaking up, families are breaking up, things are happening, you know, because we're really pulling away from that old energy. And I spoke in the last reading that I had this conversation with these, you know, 3 MAGA guys. I mean, it got to the point where the one guy just like stepped out, but he had his sons with him too. So like, I totally understood, like little sons, like maybe like a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old or something, or 7-year-old. And he had his hands full with that. Like, he really did. He was such a good dad. But like, one of the things he said, don't whisper things to your brother after I correct him, or like whatever. And it was really interesting. I was like, wow, this is really interesting. Like, I was seeing how much he was trying so hard to be firm but gentle with this boy. And I was like, where does that come from? Like, is he a troublemaker, the boy? Or is like, you know, is the dad feeling insecure and like he doesn't know what he's saying to the boy? You know, it was a really, and I thought, man, I never go to the laundromat on Sunday, but Spirit drew me to go there, and it was mostly men. And it was a completely different energy, a completely different vibe. In fact, I was so on task and so on target. I hadn't felt that good, like where I was like, yeah, because no matter where I go, laundromat, store, hiking, something, almost 99.9% of the time, even when I say, Spirit, can I just have today off? if I don't have that day off, I don't have that day off. You know what I mean? I definitely have put that out there. And then like one time I was walking and this lady, you know, came out of nowhere, and I don't even know what happened, how we started talking. And before I knew it, I was reading for her friend who had crossed over. And I was like, he keeps saying Scooby-Doo and I have no idea what that means. And she's like, I don't know the connection, because they were childhood friends. And then she goes, oh my gosh, she's like, he had a Great Dane. She's like, oh my gosh, she's like, I took his Great Dane when she's like, how did I not put that together? And I was like, you know what I mean? And I was like, but it was so cool. And it was a great moment. And when it was done, Alder and I still had a magical time down at the beach, but you know, I was just walking down, you know, to the beach. And so, you know, that's when I know that that's my path and that's my purpose, and it's really powerful and I love it. So I feel like that's a wink wink for somebody. Don't deny your gifts. Don't deny who you are. You have a mission and it's okay. And your mission, I got the chills all over. And your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to open your heart chakra, connect with the divine feminine, and don't live in fear, because fear is a man-made construct and people are turning and chiming. And I think there's a lot of programming going on, you guys. I'm not even fucking around, not even a little bit. And I think some of it may even be through family, like blood and bone, like something that's been going on, like certain triggers. Magic is very real. It's so real that people don't even realize how real it is. So it does not surprise me that dark magic has been going on through lineages. Like I said, I'm watching these people that, to me, you know, I'm like, they're a natural light worker. I can feel it. And then like others, I'm like, dude, just because you're flipping cards does not mean you're a witch, or just because you call yourself this or that does not mean that's who you are. You know, some people, they get a lot of power from it. But if you found yourself here, most likely, even if that's not like your job, you're just a natural intuitive, right? Because you're a light worker, so you're connected completely to the divine. You're coming from the angel realms, or in some place in the hand of God, Goddess, the creator. That is your purpose. That's why you're here. That's why you're watching this reading right now. You have a very divine purpose. We all have a divine purpose. I have been seeing things in like waves, in lights. I've been having connections to the divine. I've been, you know, second guessing myself. Like, I mean, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, there's a part of me that's like, I'm so excited to see Wicked for Good. But then there's another side of me that's like, I don't know if I'm ready for that. Like, seriously, because I saw the musical. And I don't know if I don't think I saw it with Idina Menzel, and because it was for my mom's 60th birthday, but it was like an early birthday present because my mom kept wanting to see Wicked, and I just assumed somebody would take her. And I think I was living in LA at the time, so I'm just like thinking back, but either way, it doesn't matter. But I ended up taking my mom, and I got like these amazing tickets and these amazing seats. And we had like a whole weekend downtown for her birthday. And so I was like, it's for her 60th birthday. And my mom would be like, I'm not 60 yet, but like, you know, because she had wanted to see it. And she's like, I don't know if it'll be here. And I said, well, let's just do this. Like, this is your early 60th birthday. Because I'd planned on doing something. Whenever my mom had big birthdays, I always did something really awesome for her, like really special. Like one year I took her to see Simon and Garfunkel. Actually, I think that might have been on her 60th birthday. And she's like, you already took me to see Wicked. And I was like, well, same thing. I was like, Simon and Garfunkel, this is their farewell tour. I'm pretty sure they're never, ever going to tour again. Like, they're your age. I'm like, they said it. And they never did, as far as I know. So, but yeah, I gave my mom like this super magical birthday. And since I've been super weepy with my mom, and since I have this connection to Cynthia and Ariana, and, you know, I recently found, I'm just going to admit something to you, that, you know, Southside Chicago Kelly, she comes out every so often. It's where I was born and raised. It's just a part of me, you know. I do have like a little bit of a pit bull German shepherd, you know, definitely the wolf in me. There's a side of me, it's my dragon as well, that I have always fought for the underdog. It's just the way I'm wired, just the way I am. And if I feel like somebody is being mistreated or whatever, I tend to stand up, even if I'm not supposed to, but a lot of times I feel like I am. But anyway, I stumbled upon, but didn't stumble upon, this video of this comedian, and she's like really big in the LGBTQ community. I'm not going to say her name. I'd never even heard of her, but like apparently she's really famous, and so I'm not going to say her name. And anyway, she had put out this video that was so awful she normally, I guess, speaks about like politics, but every so often, I guess she puts out videos about like Hollywood stuff, or like, you know, world like stuff that's just like that she feels is or deems as bullshit. When I clicked on the video, they started talking, and right away I knew I wasn't going to like this video, and I was not wanting to watch it. And Spirit's like, I want you to jump around a little bit. So I jumped around a little bit, and I listened to some of it, and I watched some of it, and I was so angry because, and I had to take a minute, because I was like, you know what? Just because you don't understand something doesn't mean you get to be the fucking poster child for like discrimination and hate. And I was like, you know, especially I felt like a parent that was like, especially like you have gone through it, obviously, because, you know, she wasn't young and she wasn't like my age, but if I had to guess, she's definitely in her late 30s, somewhere maybe in her 40s. But she had that kind of look where she could look really young, you know what I mean? So I don't know. But either way, I know that they definitely have not had an easy road, right? So that's what gets me more, is when I see someone who was mistreated for who they are and then bash other people for being who they are. It burns my butter more than anything I can really express, the anger that sets in. So I asked Spirit to give me the words, and I basically said, just because you don't understand the love between them doesn't mean that you get to bash it, doesn't mean you get to make fun of it, doesn't mean, you know, whatever. And I'm like, why do they have to have a sexual connection? Like, why does it have to be sexualized? She's like, I'm, you know, because in the video she said something like, you know, it's their connection's even too gay for me, and I'm gay, you know, kind of thing. And whether they had an affair or not, I don't believe that that's true. I believe that they are two young souls in very old soul energy, and they got to live their fucking dream. I saw this interview with Cynthia that was so powerful, and I had just seen it like right before that, which was perfect. But she said, you know, a lot of people can't understand like why Ari and I have this connection. And she said it's because we both, like, if you've ever seen like someday I want to buy, like, I want to get the whole like DVD set and see like the making of it and all that. But I do know that one of the things when they first started was that we have each other's back. Like, if you're not feeling well today, or if you're not, like, let's talk about that. Like, we both know what it's like to have to practice and go through all this and all the work. And so they, from the beginning, they decided like we are going to be a team. And they were. And they formed a bond because they both, like, that was their dream role. They both got to play their dream role. I am a theater kid as well. And I know that kind of feeling when you get to play a part. I've only played one part ever that was like, at the time, I didn't know it was going to change me forever for good, but it did. And even though it wasn't the lead, which I thought I wanted, I ended up playing I was the heart of the show. My character was the heart of the show because my character died early on. And it was about these two best friends, this sisterhood that some people would deem, you know, same when I was in school, they're like, oh, I bet they were gay, you know, and it's like, why can't we just have these outward affection for each other without it having a label? I'm really, I'm sorry, Spirit, I take it, I don't want to put that energy out there, but it's just upsetting, you know, and limiting. But the judgmental side, I'm just like, come on, man, right? Like, what the fuck? And until you live your dream, you won't know. And a lot of people never do. And that's why they're pessimistic, and that's why they're angry. They've never had the love that they want or crave. Some people have never even understood that kind of love or friendship or connection, especially in the last 20 years since we've gotten deeper and deeper into social media and the internet, and you know what I mean? And people have lost that physical connection, that physical touch, that divine feminine energy, that motherly, come here, let me give you a hug. Especially for those who didn't have a mother like that, who wasn't touchy-feely, who didn't hug, who didn't, you know. My whole entire life, I heard, you're so sensitive. Stop being so sensitive. Toughen up. Oh my gosh. My family terrified. They're like, you're going to go out into the real world and they're going to eat you up and spit you out. And, you know, just they tried so hard to harden me. And my dad, you know, now that he's been on the other side for so long and he sees so much, he's like, no, my gosh, you know, instead of like lifting that up, that energy, and having me be this divine light being that I am, that I've always been. You know, I've heard that my whole life too. You light up a room. My gosh, your smile, you know, changes everything. Or I can have the worst day. That's why I call you, because you always make me look at the bright side of things. And, you know, that's what I love the most about myself. Even now I'm trying to hold back my emotions. Because even Spirit's been showing me that not to drive at everything with emotion. But I think even in the spiritual side, we're losing touch with that too. And that's why Jesus is here. And in my experience, he was like the human version of the heart chakra. Like Michael is the embodiment of protection and fire. And he raises his sword up high. But yet in tarot, swords are about communication. But Gabriel's over there on the west energy with water. Communication. You know, and I can go on and on and on. Whatever we come from, there's definitely a divinity. There's some beauty and truth in the Bible, but the issue is that the Bible, oh, right. So earlier today, Spirit said to me, there's collusion. There was collusion in the Bible. That is why, you know, when it's marred by mankind, humankind, when it's marred by those who don't care about others' divinity, who do not care about others' pain and suffering. That's what Jesus was trying to show us and teach us. I mean, I don't know who this is on the cover. I don't remember, because this deck I don't work with very often. It comes in when it needs to come in. But I feel like she does have like a Mary Magdalene, or like Mary, you know, Jesus's mother, you know, energy. And she is embodying the divine feminine right now. And she's showing us like, you know, that since the dawn of time, women it's gone back and forth. And there has been time, and there have been places where women were in power and men were not in power. And they did use their, you know, their vagina, their punani, vajayjay, whatever you want to call it, your flower, as Monica Geller used to say, right? But there's something, right? It's where the seeds are planted. Men understood they couldn't have children. They understood that the woman had to be revered, but there were also men that would keep women chained or imprisoned or caged. And so we are also breaking free of that energy. And it's been going on for a really long time. Oh my gosh, you guys, it felt like it was being stuck to me. Saint Bridget, oh, how perfect. Our Lady of Exalted Light. Okay, so let me see if Spirit wants me to do a close-up. Okay, my eyes are filled with tears, so I'm trying to see through this right now. I give endlessly because the light is without end. My soul is all I need. And look at that light that she's carrying. This is what they're talking about, you guys. This is exactly what they're talking about. So while the masculine is having this really huge breakdown, we are here to hold them high, to exalt them, right? We need each other. We were co-created so that we could have children. But also there were some people who were not meant to have children. They're not meant to procreate in this lifetime, right? I mean, I was watching something recently from I think her name is Maddie Webb. She's so funny. Excuse me. And there was something with one of her shorts came across my feed about how her girlfriend can never get her pregnant. She was like, oh my gosh, she's like, my girlfriend can never get me pregnant. You know, and she goes, my girlfriend can never get me pregnant. You know what I mean? Like, she was like, I could be that person or I could be that person. You know, she's like, if and when I want to have kids or whatever, she's like, but how awesome is that I get to have this loving relationship and I don't have to be on birth control. And you know what I mean? It's like, that's her freedom. That's her happiness. That's her story. You know what I mean? So, you know, there is nothing wrong with who you are. I feel like that's a message for somebody. I feel like there's at least one person in this group or in this tribe right now who is starting to feel feelings for someone of the same sex. And it does feel like two divine feminine, two women. And hold on, I'm going to blow my nose. And I'm hearing from spirit that why not? Why not go and check that out? There's nothing wrong with it. You're not going to HE double hockey sticks. That's not real. For some of you, you know what I mean? Because like you believe, you know, but then there are some people who are new here that are like really terrified. And let me tell you something. If your family shuns you, my family, oh shit, I just turned my heater off. My family shunned me. And I wasn't gay, but I wasn't the person that they wanted me to be, to fit into our family. I was too weird, too queer, too strange, too sensitive, too much, just too, you know what I mean? And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna leave quietly. I gave my family two last very big chances that we spent a lot of time together to, you know, connect with me or at least try. And, you know, I realized that that's just not the path that was meant to go on. Now, I don't know if it's forever. I still always hope and pray that I will sometime come back around to my blood and bone. But let me tell you something. The best thing I ever did for myself and for them was to just let go. You know, I got to a point where I was like, I need to just let this go. Because I do have people who really care about me. I do have people who really love me. And I don't need to have them be, you know, connected to me through, you know, blood and bone. That doesn't have to be. You guys here, we are star family. We are soul family. This is how we're connected. Okay, I have to take a picture. This is just too good. This is beautiful, isn't it? So I'm going to read from the book. And oh my gosh, you guys, I almost opened up exactly to it. Isn't that crazy? I love when that happens. And I feel like for some of you, you're meant to like see this. Maybe you need a screenshot. Okay, but I have to go over here because I have to put my glasses on. So here we go. Oops. There's a really intense energy coming through. Okay. Saint Bridget represents the elevated state of knowing that we have everything we could ever need. Bridget was born in Ireland in 453, which is interesting because it's 345, but they're not in order. Also, it's the number 12, and which comes down to the number 3. It's like 453. I don't know. So I feel like that's for somebody for numerology. Okay. It could be a birthday too. It could be about somebody turning 53 in April. Okay. So Bridget was born in Ireland in 453, the daughter of an enslaved Piot woman named Broca, Brocca. Bridget's name comes from the Celtic. I'm going to do my best, you guys. Can I just preface and say, every time I use this deck, these are saints that are like divine feminine deities from all over the world. So sometimes I don't know how to pronounce certain things, so please forgive me, because this is obviously a form of Gaelic, I would imagine. So it says Bridget's name comes from the Celtic Briganti, meaning high or exalted. It is said that the moment, oh, that's what they wanted me to show. It's on page 166, which is the number 13. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. That's so rad. I love when spirit does it, fun stuff like that. Okay, meaning higher exalted. It is said that the moment the king witnessed Bridget's generosity, he knew that she was holy and he set her free. Bridget shares the name of the Celtic goddess Brigid and took on many of the same attributes. St. Bridget's feast day is on Imbolc, the first day of February, which is also the day that the goddess Bridget is honored. Around 480, St. Bridget founded a monastery at Kildare on the site of a shrine to the goddess Bridget. There were priestesses who tended to the goddess's eternal flame and received special instruction in honoring the goddess. St. Bridget is credited with organizing a communal and consecrated form of religious life for women on that same sacred ground. This is someone's path. As I was reading it, I literally saw it looked like a battered women's shelter, or like a place where women could go. And when I looked down, you guys, it was 40. Like it looked like it was 4004, like it was marrying it. So that could mean something, because 13 is also the number 4. So it could be like, just be patient. When it's steady, when it's ready, right? Like 4 strong legs, right? Like make a table strong. So they're saying like, when it's ready, you will know, like when it's time, but just keep going towards it. If this is a goal of yours, you'd be surprised. There's so many people who have a lot of money now. This is a different time. We have more millionaires and like rich people now than we've ever had in like the history of that we know in our ancestors all over the planet. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it was always more to like, the royalty, or, the affluent, and it was like the very, very rich and the very poor, poor. And then America was, we built and designed the middle class. Now, I'm not saying that, that never happened anywhere on the planet. I'm just saying like, that's how we became strong, was because we had people who, they worked hard or whatever, but they could afford things. They could, whatever, working for the dream. But we're also seeing like how that affected others. Also, for those of you who are in the year of the boar, the pig, the Chinese New Year, I don't know where this came from, but Spirit wants me to say, and if you don't know, look up your Chinese New Year. It's always by the year. And so, they have I think it's 12 animals or 13 animals, and it goes, because it's in the lunar, it's about the Lunar New Year. And that's also a 13. So I feel like you're meant to work with that. So next year is the year of the horse, the fire horse, but also for anyone who's born in the year of the pig. So that would be for like me. I was born in 1971. I know Anna was. The next year is going to be a really, really big, fruitful year for us. And as long as we stay consistent and committed to our goals and our aspirations, it's going to be a really, really good year. So I feel like that's especially for our fire signs, our Aries, Leo, and Sag, because it's going to be the year of the fire horse. So that somebody needed to hear that. That just like kind of came out of nowhere, but it was for at least one person. Okay. So let's see. Oh yeah, right. So she founded a monastery at Kildare on the site of a shrine to the goddess Bridget. There were priestesses who tended to the goddess's eternal flame and received spiritual instructions in honoring the goddess. Saint Bridget is credited with organizing a communal and consecrated form of religious life for women on that same sacred ground. So it could even be like maybe you're a light worker or spirit, you know what I mean? And you want to open or, run a house that's like with spiritual people, because that's really powerful too. A lot of times people are like, I see all the time people are like, I'm looking for a roommate. I'm looking for a roommate, looking for a roommate. And I saw this one ad recently. I love to look on Craigslist. I always still like to look and see like what lands, for sale and what's going on, or, because I don't feel like we'll be here forever. So anyway, I was looking and somebody put in this really awesome ad, and it was super transparent, and they were like, hey, I have a large dog, super friendly, super loving, but they are a barker, and they, bark at someone walking by, they bark at the mailman. I've tried, blah, blah, blah. They're like, but they're a great dog. I really want to be in a house again, but I can't afford it, on my own. And they're like, if you have another dog like me, and, and they just literally put out like what they were looking for, 100% transparent. And I was like, that's the way you find a roommate. That's the way you find somebody who's on your same, wavelength. When I moved from Chicago to Portland, the same thing happened. It was like, I stayed at a B&B, which was awful. It was so awful. It was like, they were not transparent. It was so awful. And I didn't know, because I'd only been to Portland once, but, I flew in from the airport, rented a car, you know what I mean? But it's not like I knew every neighborhood or every place. So long story short, I prayed, you know, and I was like, Spirit, and this is before I was like really spiritual, but I was just like, you know, bring somebody my way, you know, that is like me, you know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And literally like the next day, my friend Viv put in this ad, and she, when I looked down, it was 4444. So for anybody who's seeing those numbers, or 444, and on our first meeting, we like ended up like drinking a bottle of wine and laughed ourselves silly and had a super great hangout. And we were so excited to move in together, and we totally changed each other's lives, you know. And she will forever be my sister. You know what I mean? Like, that is like someone that will, like, we literally changed each other's lives. So I'm hearing from Spirit, like, if you're wanting a new life, like, put something out there, because if you find another person who's on the same spiritual path you are, or artists, or you know what I mean, like, they're all of the above, and, you know, to say, I'm looking for a like-minded person, this is how much I can afford right now, but, you know, I'm, you know, working towards this goal, and if you're in the same mindset, maybe we could, you know, rent a place together. So I feel like that is for at least one person, and that could even be that you end up in a household like that. I've lived in houses with like multiple people, and they were, you know, we were all on the same wavelength. That really does make a difference. And it does feel like Ohana, like that family, like you feel more connected, you know, to yourself and the light. So it says, tradition says that St. Bridget died on Imbolc in 525. Oh, wow. She had a female companion named Dar Lugdoc, who became her successor as the abbess of Kildare. Dar also died on Imbolc, oh my gosh, a year later, which St. Bridget had predicted. The abbey at Kildare that St. Bridget founded became a center of religion and learning and developed into a cathedral city. It remains famous and revered today. Oh, I love this story. When your soul selects St. Bridget, it says, St. Bridget lived in alignment with the highest, most exalted aspect of her being. She was born a slave, and yet legend relates that she gave away anything she possibly could to help those in need. Her generosity was an indication of the tremendous inner wealth she received from her connection to Spirit. Her message to us is to reconnect to that inner fire, that eternal flame that feeds us more than anything external to us ever could. Read poetry or whatever feels like sacred scripture to your soul. Let your soul voice surface through some uncensored automatic writing, or let your soul guide your body through movement. Sorry, I'm trying to find the light. It's getting dark in here. Your answers right now are in releasing any attachments to personal possessions, clearing space, uncluttering your home, giving away what you don't need or someone needs much more than you do, so that you have the sacred space to remember just how much you have when your soul is loud and ever present within you. I love that. Soul voice meditation is, what can I clear out of my space that no longer resonates with me? And the intention is, I give endlessly because the light is without end. My soul is all I need. Okay, so I'm going to put this here. So if you guys want to keep these, you know, with your spiritual practice right now. Hold on, let me get it in a better, hold on. Okay, you got it? So let's work with this soul voice meditation. So when you wake up every day until something else comes in, say, what can I clear out of my space that no longer resonates with me? So it could be emotions, it could be energy, it could be actual things. Maybe it's time to do a purge. You know, this is the time of year people really need stuff. I was watching, you know, Just Nate. I don't know if you guys know him. He's on YouTube, and he has, I think, like 5 million followers, and they really help him and take care of him, because all he does, his whole entire life purpose is going to homeless encampments and helping people. And he always says at the end, a hug or a handshake, you choose. And he doesn't care if they're haven't bathed for days, you know what I mean? Like he gives them a real hug, and he takes really good care of these people. And when he first started out, you know, he didn't have much, but it turned into, like, it just snowballed. And now, you know, he's bought cars for people. He gets sponsors from dealerships to like help people get out of their situation. You never ever know what someone needs. So, you know, and it'll be freeing for you too. I've been going through that too. Like, I literally found these bags in my storage and I was like, I've been holding on to these bags for a few years. I'm like, can we get rid of these now? Because there are things that I don't need anymore, or I don't want anymore, or I've collected from other people to like pass on. But I'll hold them in my storage. They're not causing me any harm, you know what I mean? But when it's time, Spirit lets me know, like, yeah, bring this to this place or bring this to this place. Even Goodwill, you know, I know people are like, don't support Goodwill. I'm like, well, I don't want to support Goodwill, but it's not about that. Sometimes if somebody needs a particular thing and Spirit tells me to go donate it to Goodwill, I donate it to Goodwill, you know? I mean, we have this really beautiful shop in our nearby town called Serenity, and like everything that is donated, all the sales go to all the homeless shelters and like the food banks and stuff. So, you know, but people have rough times. And one of Nate's recent videos I watched was this guy who worked in a bank for years, and he needed it because he had 2 daughters with autism, and so he needed the job. And then his boss was just so awful that he just had a day where he just like lost his fucking shit. And I don't know if he said he quit or he got fired, or I think he quit like when he was heated, but then he like went to like ask him for his job back and he said no. And he's like, it happened so fast. He's like, we went through our money. So he's like, I thought I'd find a job. I thought something would happen. And I mean, it was a really awful, you know, he went through so much. So, you know, it's like we just never know what other people are going through. So right now, it's like the other thing too with the love in the dark is it's not just about the romance or whatever from that Adele song. It's also about so many people are in shadow or they're in depression and they don't have a light at the end of the tunnel. And Spirit's like, it's time for us to be that light, you know, for those people who really, really need it. You know, give that extra smile, hold that door open for somebody. If you see somebody look like they're not having the best day, scan them really quickly. What is something you can say like, oh, that's a cute shirt, or, oh, wow, your hair looks great, or, you know, I mean, you just never know how you can completely change and turn somebody's life around. And I do feel this very strong Jesus energy, and that's what Jesus was here to do. You know, he was here to change the world in so many ways, not in just the, you know, the trivial ways. He was here to change the world in, you know, in the way we see ourselves and the way that we see each other. So I'm going to see if they have any more cards. I think that might be it. It kind of felt like that was it. And yeah, one and done. They're so funny. Although we do have, and I don't know how to pronounce this, but this is on the bottom of the deck. Look at how pretty she is. Let's look at them first and their beauty. And look at that star behind them. Powerful. And then we'll come up close and get the message. Oh, the High Priestess. Ugh. I am one with my soul, and my soul is a legacy of love. Exactly. We are Christ consciousness. We are love embodied. That's why we are here, the light workers. We hold a different frequency. We just hold a different frequency, period. End of story, like end of sentence. Like we just hold a different frequency. And so it is upon us. It is our duty, you know, nay, our responsibility, right, to really put that forward now. Every single day. And when you're not having a day that you feel like you can really put that energy out there, you know what? Do it anyway, because you will feel better. You will feel better. And you know what? You'll be surprised. You'll probably have somebody else come up to you just like you did, right? Like we are all angels here for each other. You know, I wasn't sure why I was meant to work at the Witches Walk, you know, back in October. After it was done, I totally understood. And one of the first people that I worked with was this really powerful light worker. And he just had such an energy and such a light around him. And, you know, I could see that they had been through a lot, you know, and I saw their childhood. Even though there was an older man in front of me, I saw the little boy. I saw the child. And, you know, I ended up doing 3 readings, or no, I did 4 readings that night. And it was funny because I read for 2 women and 2 men, but the one I didn't really read for her so much. She was not really, she was a little intoxicated and she was kind of in her own universe. So I was more like kind of just guiding and agreeing, or like kind of pushing her more, you know, to her own story and intuition. But the other one, it was really cool because I was blessed to hold space for her friend who had crossed over and wanted to give her a message. But the two men was very interesting, like just how different. And I can feel this pushback from the divine masculine of, I got to be a man, I got to be strong, I got to be tough, I got to be, and the divine feminine is coming in saying, you don't have to. You're already enough. You don't have to be more than what you are. And same as the women. We've been pushing with our divine masculine because we don't want to be perceived as weak. We don't want to be perceived as prey. Especially, we've been with the human trafficking. I mean, it happens to all, women, men, transgender, straight, bi, it doesn't matter, right? Like it happens. But I'm saying like there's definitely something going on with the divine feminine and masculine in this push-pull right now. So when Adele is singing, I can't love you in the dark, you can love somebody while they're in their shadow and while they're in the dark, but you don't have to stay around them. This, a few of the feathers wanted to come in today. So whenever they come in, I like to show them if I'm called to. And this one, I really felt like I was called to show this one. And a lot of times I just pick these up, so I don't even know exactly what bird it's from. I'm not an expert of any kind. This one was in our other reading too. And then this one, this is really powerful. This one wanted to come in. And if any of you are like bird experts, and you can kind of tell, I would love for your feedback on the bottom. That would be really rad. Okay, let's see. Do we have any more messages? Do you want to get some personal messages from Toad the Wet Sprocket today? I had a feeling he wanted to come in. Oh my gosh, how cute. Okay, so it's almost like he's hiding back there, but I was going to take him out, and they said, no, he's good. He's good. They're like, you can leave him in. I'm like, okay. So as a lot of you guys know, I put a lot of, there's a lot of cool things in here. So let's see if we can get some individualized messages. I feel like there's some of you that maybe you're going through. Ooh, did you see that? By the way, in the last reading that I did, the unicorn one, I put a timestamp because this entity like flew right into the camera. There was nothing there, but I saw the light. Like I saw the light like when, you know what I mean? Like from the corner of my eye. But what was really powerful was when I watched it back and I was like, wait, did I just see that? I thought I wasn't sure if I was seeing something. And then when I saw it, I was like, holy shit, that's so cool. Okay, so let me shake this up. Okay. All right, Spirit, do we have any? Okay, there we go. Oh, one last message. So I'm going to read them as they come. Let's see. Hold on. Okay, so the first word, I just put the light on so now I can see. The first one is whole. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm trying to come in through this side. You know what I'll do? I'll just put them down. Okay, so the first one was whole. And then when I went to put Sprocket's head on, this one came out natural. So whole, natural. My eyes are going to these two at the same time. So I'm going to take them as maybe a message together. And some of them, they're so tiny, you guys, that it's like hard to really see them. So I may have to go look under the light. Hold on. Okay, so this one says open. And this one says remedy. Ooh, interesting. I feel like whole, natural, open, remedy. So this could be maybe for somebody who's been thinking about, like maybe you're thinking about, doing some natural healing or natural herbal. Okay, so then these two say, to ensure clean air and water source. Oh, okay. So this could be it too. Like make sure that you know where your air and your water, like make sure you know the source of your air and water. I don't want to cover her face. Okay, my eyes are going to these two over here that flew out. And this one is an I. And this one is, ooh, Chicago. Interesting. A Chi-Town family. I'm from Chicago. So Chicago and an I. Okay. Also, I saw a movie yesterday and I was like, oh, you know, I do miss Chicago sometimes. I do miss my hometown. Like, I don't want to live there again, but I was like, so maybe this is like for some of you that have been thinking about maybe moving to Chicago. And this is like a you know, a green flag from spirit. Also, my eyes are going to this one, which is a teeny tiny percent sign. And then my eyes went to this one, which this one's really interesting because it's an and, but they had me keep the color and they were very specific about this. So this is green, white, and red, but it could be orange. So it could even be like a Mexican flag. It could be Italian. Like maybe you're meant to, you know, because the other thing too is maybe you want to be around more people like yourself. And Chicago has like a really huge Italian community, a really good Mexican community. I don't know why that's coming up, but that's coming up. Also, this little piece of sage just came up. So I feel like for some of you, especially because they're having me put it by her hand where it looked like she would maybe be smudging. So I'm hearing you need to get some smudging done. Clean it up. Clean it up. I'm hearing from our spirit guides, clean it up. Okay. The next round is up and mama. Oh, hi mom. But it could be anybody's mama. So it says up and mama. So I don't know what that means. And it could be mama up, you know what I mean? My eyes are going here, but I don't know. There's something under this crystal. These two. Actually, they're telling me these three. I just saw this one over here. Okay. And this says beeswax. And this could be either on or no, because it's really depends on, I mean, I did have it like here. I'm going to show you. I did kind of have it where like the little sign, you know what I mean? Like, so they didn't have me cut that off. So it could be no. Maybe this is, maybe you were asking a question at the beginning of this reading and it's a no. But then we've got this beeswax and recipes. And they're having me put it on the divine. Maybe you're meant to make some lip balm. Maybe you're into beeswax or like you had family that, you know, made things. My eyes are also, they're drawing me to, they had me put in a piece of corn. This is heirloom corn. So maybe you're thinking about making some type of recipes, opening a restaurant, a food cart. Maybe you want to make a recipe book, write a book. Maybe you want to have an online channel that you cook. There's definitely something there. Oh, look at this. It says right here, snacks. I mean, so there's definitely something. And this could be, I feel like this is for me. This could be that maybe for some of you, you're having too much snacks and not enough food in your diet because you're probably busy. Maybe it's the holidays. Thin. It says snacks, thin. Okay, do we have any fly this way? I'm just kind of like uncovering. Also, they had me bring in, these are offerings to spirit, but they were almonds and pecans. So maybe this could mean something to somebody. You know, I'm always like, you know, just because it doesn't make sense to me, it's not about me. It's about you guys. So there's an S. They want me to go to this one first. No, what? Oh, this one. That's the one I saw that was underneath there. Okay. So there's an S. So we have an S and I so far. Mint. This could be too for some of you. Maybe if you're having digestive issues, they're saying, you know, like maybe keep a mint plant around and like have some mint tea to help you digest. Ooh, interesting. And now this says fat. And it was kind of under mint. Okay. Now they're having me go to this one, which says small. It went to the heart chakra, which is kind of interesting. Okay, let me see if there's any more. Because sometimes they, yep, there they go. Sometimes they just, they fly. After the reading, sometimes I'll, you know, but also when they fly, sometimes they don't want you to see it. Because I'll say, do you want me to go back in and do something, and they're like, nah, they don't need to see it. It just flew out with the other stuff. So it wasn't meant to be. Okay, as far as I can tell, we only have one more message. And this says, oh, it's got two sides. Oh, one side's an R. So for initials, we have S, I, and R. And then on the back of the R, there's kind of a word. It looks like it's saying and the. So I'm going to put this back down. And give you more of a, okay, so you can scan in there or take a screenshot and then see if any of this, now if it's not your story, it's not your story. Sometimes these are just like extra little things to give you, you know, like maybe that and sign means something to you. Maybe you have somebody who used to say to you, and, you know what I mean? It's like there's lots of things. Interesting that snacks, thin, fat. That's interesting. And I don't feel like they want me to mess with them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like I'm meant to move them around or anything. Okay, you guys. So those are our messages from Toad the Wet Sprocket. I'm going to do one more look around and see. I think that's it. What's this? This is part of lavender, and there's some rosemary here too, so it could be some of you are meant to work with that. Okay, let me ask Spirit. All right, do we want to pull any more cards? Do we have any more channeled messages? No, just don't forget to check out Anna's Etsy shop. And yeah, just there's a lot of stuff in the description box, you guys. Okay, is there anything else, Spirit, before we close the portal? Okay, and I don't know if I'm going to do a full moon reading. I don't know. I've been feeling this very interesting energy from Spirit. I'm really going with the flow. I've been working on myself and working on my home, and, you know, when I'm called to, I'm, you know, doing this. But I think also, like I said, because my moon's in Scorpio, it's like, I mean, I'm like crying at the drop of a hat these days. So I feel like I feel like I'm meant to work stuff out. By the way, can you guys look to the left and I mean, I think it's going to be on your left, right? I don't think it mirrors, but did you see this amethyst? Like, what is going on? It looks like those are patterns. Like, it almost looks like a candy cane, but it looks like patterns in the sky. And what's so cool about it is, like, it's definitely just the way the light's hitting it, right? Because look at that. Oh, sorry, Anna, but look at that. So don't forget about the magic. Spirit says, don't forget about the love. I don't know if you could see my sweatshirt. You know, like, don't forget about the love and magic. Keep saying, I believe in magic and miracles. These are the Post-its that I have up in my house right now. These are the Post-its that I have up. I'm a millionaire. I have, there is $7,144,000 in our bank account. I am royalty. I am spiritual royalty. I am magic. I am a beautiful soul. Because you know what? Sometimes you just gotta kind of give yourself a little pep talk. You can see me in there. Hi. But see, like, having those little Post-its around, it really makes a difference. You know, just, I keep saying it. I believe in magic and miracles. I'm a millionaire. You know, money comes easy to me. Like, all these things, because it is. Also, these are some of the cards that I've been keeping around to help keep me in a high vibration. I attract success by being my authentic self. I attract success by being my authentic self. So I say I'm a millionaire just for being myself. You know, doing what I love, doing what feels good. I trust that my gut reaction is the truth underneath the surface of, and I always say, of any fears. But I don't even really, like, this one I love it, but I try not to have fear-based things like around my orbit, because I don't want to live in a fear-based energy. But this is one of my favorite ones. Happiness is my birthright, because it is. Happiness is our birthright, you guys. It is literally our birthright. We are not meant to be slaves to anybody. We're not meant to, you know, take care of somebody else's, you know, needs. You know, I mean, we're here to help and support each other, right? I show up for myself in the world. This one I love the most. I show up for myself in the world. So, you know, keeping these things around, that's what's keeping me positive. That's what's helping me stay grounded. You know, feel free to put below like what's helping you, you know, like what's good for you right now. You know, we always like to know each other's little tips of the trade, like how, you know, how are you feeling? What's, you know, what's good? What's good? What was that movie where she's like, what's good? Oh gosh, I forget now, but it was so cute, right? Because she was just like, what's good? Like, tell me what's going on. Like, what's good out there? What's good? All right, so happiness is my birthright. Try and get them both. St. Bridget's like, you don't need my name on there. She's like, you can see who I am. Anyway, all right, you guys. So these are our messages from Spirit. I hope they helped you in any way. And if you'd like to work with me, or if you would like to hire me to be in a group setting, if you'd like to, you know, and the group setting, you know, my rates are the same no matter what. You know, like I tell people all the time, I'm like, my rates are the same no matter like what I do, whether it's a one-on-one or it's a group thing. You know, for the group things, I sometimes depends on how many people are there. I may tag on a little extra. But, you know, but the whole point is like people can pull, you know, finances or whatever. But if you'd like to, you know, hire me for, a, you know, in that kind of respect. And then also, I have my PayPal back up and running, and my Venmo is there, and my Amazon wish list, and prayer is free. So if it is not in your wheelhouse to contribute for the exchange of energy for the service of Spirit and myself today and anytime, then, you know, prayer is good. Prayer is free because it's the same type of currency. It's just, or I should say it's both currency. It's just a different type of currency. But look at, my life is blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed. And I am blessed because you are a part of my life. I love you so much. All right, you guys, until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other. Happy birthday, Anna. And I will see you real soon.